Hey guys, Nate Harris here with Stone River Outfitters. Thanks for joining me. In today's tutorial, I'm going to share with you how to tie one of fly fishing's most versatile and all-around productive subsurface attractor patterns, great for searching out brook, brown, and rainbow trout alike, the simple yet deadly Beadhead Pheasant Tail Nymph. A tried and true all-purpose favorite, perfect for generically mimicking the many various swimmer, crawler, and clinger-type mayfly nymphs upon which trout in most healthy rivers, streams, ponds, and lakes all reliably feed. Let's go ahead and give tying the Beadhead Pheasant Tail Nymph a try. To begin, we'll first start by installing an appropriately sized round gold bead smoothly onto and then all the way forward towards the ringed eye of our favorite high-quality stout wire 1x long to 2x long nymph hook. Once installed, we'll then go ahead and clamp our hook neatly by its bend firmly in our vice jaws like shown. Next, to give our nymph some added weight, ensuring it sinks quickly when fished, we'll take a brief moment and add to our hook shank a good 10 to 12 tight wound, close abutting wraps of soft brown lead wire or non-toxic lead-free substitute. Once snugly wound, we'll next quickly pinch or cut away the excess tag ends of our lead wire, both front and rear, and with the excess removed, we'll next go ahead and push our weighted underbody smoothly forward towards and then neatly up and into our round gold beads machined countersunk rear. We'll next attach our tying thread snugly onto our hook by installing a well-placed taut wound jam knot positioned just behind our lead wire's rear. Once fastened, we'll go ahead and rid ourselves of the thread's excess with a quick, crisp tug. Next, we'll take in hand a nice high-quality ring neck cock pheasant center tail, and we'll snip from the feather's middle to lower end sweet spot closely at the stem a handsome, even-tipped bunch of 6 to 10 notably long, well-marked pheasant tail fibers. With tips roughly evened and the narrow pointed ends facing rearward, we'll next go ahead and measure our bunch against our hook, ensuring for proportion's sake that our tail measures about the same length as our body from bead to bend. Once properly proportioned, we'll then slide the clump neatly into position at the fly's rear, where we'll bind our tail firmly in place with a smooth series of taut wound thread wraps made rearward along the hook shank, continuing until we've reached a comfortable stop located just above our hook's raised barb. Once snugly bound, we'll next take a moment to gently lift and closely trim away just behind our lead underbody's rear the forward protruding excess pheasant tail fibers. Next, to enhance our fly's durability, we'll snip ourselves a comfortable 3 to 4 inch working length of small gold UTC Ultra wire. And once snipped, we'll then tie one end of that rib neatly into position at our fly's rear, binding it securely along our nymph's underside belly, first forward all the way to our lead using tight drawn thread wraps, then rearward again until we've reached a comfortable stop located just above our hook's sharpened point. With our rib now snugly bound, we'll next go ahead and prepare our body by snipping from the center tail stem another nice, long, even-tipped bunch of 6 to 10 pheasant tail fibers. With the trimmed butts held firmly with our offhand, we'll then tie the fibers in neatly by their tips at the fly's rear using a few more carefully controlled, taut-drawn turns of thread. Once snugly secure, we'll then go ahead and advance our thread quickly forward along the hook shank using smooth, openly spaced thread wraps, continuing until we've reached an optimal resting stop located about 2 or so bead lengths behind our hook eye. With our bobbin now comfortably out of the way, and with the help of a good pair of hackle pliers too perhaps, we can begin wrapping forward in smooth, continuous, close wound fashion our well-marked bundle of pheasant tail body fibers. Advancing quickly but deliberately forward, all the way up and then smoothly onto our lead underbody's rear. Once there, we'll neatly tie off the pheasant tail fibers with a couple of well-placed, tight wound thread wraps, and naturally, once secure, we'll then lift and carefully trim the excess away closely at its base with a quick snip from our scissors. With the excess removed, we're now free to begin winding forward in counterwound fashion, meaning in the opposite direction as our pheasant tail fibers, our gold wire rib. Moving smoothly and progressively along the pheasant tail body using steeply angled, evenly spaced turns, we'll continue winding our rib forward towards the hook eye until we've at last reached our comfortable stop located just a short distance behind our round gold bead's rear. Once there, we'll go ahead and tie off our wire tightly with a few quick, well-placed thread wraps, and of course, once secure, we'll then rid ourselves of the excess wire with a vigorous, deliberate breaking twist. With our tail and abdomen well constructed, we can now begin working on our thorax, wing case, and optional legs. To do so, we'll first start by wrapping rearward to our body's end a smooth, level thread base upon which we can work, and once prepared, we'll again reach for, then selectively snip from our ringneck center tail's central to lower sweet spot another handsome, evenly tipped bunch of 8 to 12 notably long, lengthy, well-marked pheasant tail fibers. Next, with the bundle's narrow pointed ends facing front, we'll take a moment to proportion our legs appropriately, ensuring the tips extend a full bead length or so beyond our hook eye. And once happy with our measure, we'll then lash our fibers neatly along the hook shank's top with 2 or 3 carefully controlled, taut wound thread wraps. With the basis of our legs and wing case established, we'll next grab in hand 3 or 4 nice long strands of high quality peacock herl, and with the tips trimmed flush and the peacock's evenly cut tip ends facing front, we'll then tie our herls neatly into position just behind our bead with a few firm, well-placed, tight-drawn thread wraps. Once there, we'll next take a moment to prepare ourselves an ironclad thorax by quickly reinforcing our notoriously fragile peacock curls prior to wrapping using the quick and simple, yet remarkably durable, twisted doubling loop method. Once neatly twisted, we'll then go ahead and wrap forward to our bead a nice, plump, durably robust peacock curl thorax. Naturally, once wrapped, we'll next tie off our peacock with a few tight turns of thread made just behind our bead, and once snugly bound, we'll then carefully lift and trim our excess herl away with a quick, close snip of our scissors. With our thorax built, we'll next take a moment to quickly part our forward pitched legs neatly and evenly at their middle with a firm, vigorous pinch, and once evenly parted, we'll then go ahead and pull across the thorax's top our pheasant tail fiber wing case. Then, with our parted legs swept neatly rearward and our wing case pinched firmly forward, we'll next go ahead and tie off our pheasant tail fibers tightly behind our beadhead's rear with a couple of notably snug-drawn, well-placed thread wraps. After a brief bit of realignment and centering, if necessary, of the wing case and legs with a forceful pinch and a subtle twist, once satisfied with our fly's appearance, we're now free to go ahead and lift and carefully trim away, closely at their base, our forward protruding excess pheasant tail fibers. After another quick dressing pinch perhaps to help tame and flatten any unruly barbs, and another couple of tight-drawn thread wraps too to help ensure everything remains snugly bound. Once secure, we'll then install, just behind our bead, a nice, neat, well-placed whip finish. Once snugly whipped, we'll next go ahead and trim away our tying thread closely at its base with a quick, careful scissor snip. And once freed, we'll at last end this fly, like we do most, with a nice, liberal drop of head cement, drug neatly and evenly around our whip knot's entirety. Well friends, there we have it, the Beadhead Pheasant Tail Nymph tied start to finish, this wildly versatile and exceptionally popular, all-purpose, all-seasons, subsurface favorite is truly a must-have fly pattern for trout and bead. A dynamite choice for effectively mimicking almost any important species of immature mayfly upon which trout in most any healthy river, stream, pond, or lake all reliably and voraciously feed. If you've not yet given tying and fishing the deadly Beadhead Pheasant Tail Nymph a try, trust me, you should. Hey gang, thanks again for tuning in today. Please be sure, when you some time, to check out our other great Stone River Outfitters YouTube tutorials. Do please remember to visit us on the web for all your fly fishing and fly tying needs. And as always, tight wraps and tight lines to all.